Thank you so much for staying with us on Power Breakfast here on Citizen TV. One of our favorite guests is back to motivate us this Monday, Dr. Wale. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So I understand today we're going to talk a little bit about the greatness of this beautiful country of Kenya. And I was just asking you off air how long it is that you've actually lived in Kenya. Maybe you can share that first.
I came to Kenya for the first time in 1994. And I was here for a few years, and I went to the U.S. and came back. And this is home.
This is home for you.
Oh yeah, this is home, absolutely.
Now we're just coming out of an election period, so that saw Kenyans sort of divided on both sides. Do you think Kenyans are patriotic in nature?
Let me tell you a story.
Okay.
When you're flying in a plane that's going at say 900 kilometers per hour, when you're inside, you don't appreciate how fast it's going. In fact, you don't know you're moving. But people outside can see and say, wow, that is going really fast. I think a lot of people inside this plane called Kenya do not appreciate how great this country is. I did a study on great empires. The Egyptian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Roman Empire, the British Empire, and even the American Empire, you know, and what did they all have in common? They were places where ordinary people from other lands could come, have a dream, settle, build their dream, and live in their dreams. And no country, I've worked in over 20 African countries.
Wow.
And I've not seen one country in Africa that has that like Kenya. Kenya is so strategically positioned to lead the way for Africa. So in terms of patriotism, I think I'm more patriotic than a lot of people.
Than the rest of us.
Because I see a great country. I see a country that has given people like me and many, many more opportunities to dream and to live out their dreams.
I mean, you're always being referred to as, you know, the hub of East Africa, where everything kind of...
It's not just East Africa now. I think it's Africa.
Yeah. Why do you think it is, though, that it takes, you know, foreigners to show us our greatness? What is it about that for the international community to notice us is when we say, oh yeah, we're a pretty great country?
It's because we have seen the other side. We have seen where a country totally breaks down because of ambitions of people. We have seen a country where it got to a stage where people were going through the dustbin to look for things to eat. We have seen a country where things that we take as staple here were for the rich. Sausages, you know, because we had a country that was so run down, all right? And we had a country where people, and I'm going to get to this, but a country where because of the inequality, the country broke down many times. We saw that. Thank goodness we have a new administration, well, it's not new anymore, it's been in Nigeria, that's dealing with the issues of corruption and so on and so forth. But you see, having come from them, having come from an Abacha era, where you could not say, I mean, let me tell you how bad it was, because I was here during the Abacha era in Nigeria. The Nigerians in Kenya then were very few. We could literally all fit into the living room of the ambassador. And I remember one day we had an event at the ambassador's house, and there was nothing good to talk about. But in spite of that, and this is where we need to be proactive, we have to find something good The only thing good happening to Nigeria then was football.
Okay.
That was when the Eagles were, before they became chickens. You know, so you had your Kochas, you had the Kanus, you had all these guys. So we spent the evening talking about football. So the point I'm making is, yes, there's no country on the face of the earth that does not go through the kind of things Kenya is going through now. But our responsibility as residents, as citizens, is to amplify the good more than the negative. Because if we continue to just amplify what is not working, then what country are we going to be in? I have some projects in Mazari. I mentor young people in Mazari, and of course you know all that happened in Mazari. So about a week ago, I got later for elections, I got a whole bunch of them together, and I said, why would you destroy a kiosk where you buy bread? Uhuru Kenyatta will never come to that kiosk.
Yeah.
Raila Odinga will never come to that kiosk. Why would you destroy that? Why would you destroy places where you that serve you? What's gotten into your heads? You know, I asked them that question because, you know, I couldn't understand it, and you won't believe what they told me.
What was the response?
They said it's not political, it's economic. They said it's economic. They said this is not about we're fighting for one person or the other. That whenever you have election violence like this, it creates an opportunity for you to loot. Now, so you go in a place, you steal a phone, you steal a laptop, that will feed you for weeks to come. So the driving force is not political, it's economic. And so as we now need to think, how do we, you know, move from fighting, from reacting to responding? What's the difference when somebody is not well and you say so and so is on medication, he's responding to medication, you feel good. But when you say he's reacting to medication, then you totally freak out. We have a problem here. You know, if somebody wants to join the fire department, the fire brigade, and has trained and trained and trained for it, eventually the guy joins, and his first day at work, you know what he's looking forward to from day one? A fire. Because he's prepared for it. And that's why such services are called rapid response, not rapid react. So I got this team of people from Mazari together, and I said, you know what? Enough is enough. We cannot keep repeating things like this all the time.
Right. So
we need to respond. How do we ensure that 5 years from now,
another election comes around,
and you know, we don't repeat this? And so they said it's economic. We don't have food. So what do we need to do to ensure that these people, no matter what happens, they cannot be lured to go and loot, to fight? For instance, I thought of it. My children, our children, will not go on the streets. Why? Because they're not hungry. So we need to fix the economic side of things. If we fix the economic side of things, the political side can be managed.
Okay. In this election period that we've just witnessed, you know, it's united some people and also divided others. There are cases we hear of even families now, you know, not speaking to each other because I voted for this person and you voted for that. What is the role of politics in our lives? It just seems to consume us as Kenyans.
Politics is a major. I mean, politics determines the future. Well, that's why people are very emotive about it and all that. But one thing you have to think about, and this is what I tell my kids in Mazari all the time. I said, you know, you are going to fight yourselves and kill yourselves for people who will watch you on television. You are going to kill yourselves for people who will sit down at Serena and have a meal,
and laugh with each other,
and laugh, and you know. So, and during the, I think it was when we were waiting for the IBC announcement, there was this thing going around on social media about the politicians from different sides, you know, hugging each other, you know. Now, that's what we need to tell the people, that you know what, the people you are fighting for are friends. All right? Somebody put it so well that we don't really have different political parties. We have politicians and the masses.
Everyone else, yeah.
Yes.
It's a good point.
Yes.
You know, in terms of tribes, you know, we can come and unite as Kenyans and be proud of our country, but there will always be that, you know, division amongst tribal lines. Do you think that is something that Kenya will ever be able to get over?
We will get over it. Let me tell you something. All we need to do, and the media is going to play a major role in this. Let me tell you, the role of the media is supposed to be, media is supposed to entertain, media is supposed to inform, and media is supposed to educate. Now, media by and large succeed in entertaining, succeed in informing, but the education part has been lacking. Part of the education is media needs to amplify the things that bring us together more than the things that divide us. You know, we need to get to a point where media has to, and you know, we have to determine at what point does getting a good story have to give way to patriotism. At what point do we have to make that decision that this story is going to fuel up and ignite tensions? So it's a good story, but you know what? We choose to keep our country together. I think those are very important things. There is no country that doesn't have, I mean, you're seeing what's happening in America right now.
Oh, yeah.
That is vicious. That is, you know, we cannot appeal to the lower instincts of humanity and expect to be a great country.
You said you've worked in over 20 different African countries. So what is it? I mean, you know, people look at Africa sometimes and just feel like we're always on the brink of breakdown in some of these countries when we talk about corruption, etc. So what is it that keeps us, you know, still together and solid and you know, not deteriorating into what we've seen happen around the continent?
Families. We're very strong on families. And that whole family unit, which, and I'm really scared because that family unit is being threatened.
In what way?
You have, when I was younger, you know, when we got married, and culturally in Nigeria, when you get married, it is the families that marry. So I can't just, if I treat my wife badly, it's a family issue. Okay? My wife can't just decide I'm out of here. We'll have to talk as families. Okay? And we need to strengthen the family unit. Right now, the divorce rate is, last time I saw, between 3 to 5 years. People celebrate that, wow, you've been married for 5 years. That is major. You know, we need to address those. We need to address the fact that a lot of talk has been going on about empowering women. I am thinking, and that's why I am now really going into empowering men. Because who will these women marry? You have all these empowered women, and then you have these men. I met a man the other day. it would have been funny if he was not so sad. He said, "Oh, I'm going to marry a rich girl. I cannot have come from a poor family and then marry a poor girl." Now, you know, we have issues.
We do. We very much do.
We have issues. So I think what has kept us together so far, to answer your question, has been our families. The fact that we can still call our son and say, "You know what, behave." That is not representing the family well. So I think as we talk about the economic part of things, you know that if we get the economics right, the politics will take care of itself. But I think also the social side of things with regards to families.
Right.
I have a lot of kids in Mathare. I'm the only father they know. Because their fathers are, you know, absentee.
Yeah.
They don't know them. I have a lot of younger ones, you know, that I have to take care of in school and all that. I'm taking my kids, the older ones, we're taking them through entrepreneurship programs and all that. I am, to the best of my ability, able to give a little grant here and there, looking for people to partner. But do you know what? People don't go to Mathare. They don't go. People don't go to such places. Somebody asked me the other day, he said, "When you go to those places, do you take security with you?" I said, "You see, that's the thing. Those my kids, they're my security. Because they know I am a father to them. I am new to them. I sit down with some of them every single week, and we have a decent meal together." Now, you know what? All those ones, you think they had time to fight or to riot and all that? No.
Because they've had mentorship.
They've had mentorship. They have a hope. They have a future. You know, and that is another thing we need to all put our hands together to do. We need to give people a hope. We need to give them a hope that today might be a struggle, but if you do A, B, C, D, E, tomorrow will be better. You know, we need to give them that hope. We need to give them a sense of dignity. One of them said to me, he said, "I mean, all these guys that I'm mentoring have all been in gangs. They're not in gangs today. You know?" And I said, why did you go into those gangs? And he said, "Well, because there's dignity. When you're in a gang, you have a good phone, you have a good girlfriend." Can you imagine? It's a sense of dignity. And so these are the things we need to look at. Let me tell you, if we can address these things, we have 5 years. If we can address these things together, I promise you, kids in Mathare will watch these things on television and not on the streets.
Right. You talked about having hope. Do you feel that the Kenyan economy is in a place to give us hope for the next couple of years?
The platform is said, why do you think all these people, Jackman, all these people are coming here? You know, everybody seems to forget the point, the fact that they are not coming as tourists. They are coming for business.
Yeah.
You know, so we need to ask ourselves, what are they seeing that we are not seeing?
That's a very good question.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are they seeing that we are not? They are not. They think they are coming to look at animals. That's what they're coming to do. You know, they have seen a platform, a country that has the technological infrastructure to run 21st century businesses. That's what they've seen, and that's what they want to be a part of. And instead of us seeing that, we're fighting each other. Instead of us seeing that, we're always criticizing everything that is being done by everybody. You know, and let me tell you something. Personally, you don't have the right to criticize until you have done something worth criticizing.
It's powerful. Just taking it back to the issue of family, you talked about that being, you know, the basis of why we are as a country, and mentioned the divorce rate as well. Is it a generational thing that you see happening, or what do you think has caused that? The rifts that you're...
It's the wrong side of modernization.
Oh, okay.
It's the wrong side of, you know, you've watched the Kardashians and you've watched a whole lot of stuff, and so we want to imbibe, and this is the sad thing, you know, Africa, we are really, really funny. We're very impressionable. We copy the worst Okay, so why don't we copy the behavior of decency? Why don't we copy that? You know, we copy the worst. We want to dress like them. We want to behave like them. We want to. That's why you see a pastor who has never been to the airport talk with an American accent. What's his problem?
I haven't been to the airport even.
You know, talk with an American accent. That is part of the problem. We need to uphold of course there are negative parts of our culture, but there's great parts of our culture. We need to uphold that. We need to celebrate that. You know, I celebrate that, you know, with my children, with my family, with my kids in Matari. We celebrate the good part of our culture. And I say, there's no way you're going to come to me dressed like a tout and me take it like it is fashion. Absolutely not. You may call me old-fashioned, but there are certain things I won't take. Yeah.
So it starts at home.
It starts at home.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to take for Kenyans to begin seeing their worth? You know, because it's easy for someone to come and tell us you have such a beautiful country, but what will it take for the average Kenyan to start appreciating Kenya more?
Well, number one, I think just look around. Look at the good stories. Let's work together with the media. Let's brand Kenya properly. You know, a lot of the Western media, a lot of the Western governments that will issue advisories and all that, where do they get the information from? From us. They get it from us. So if we are not telling our own great stories, why should somebody else tell our stories for us? Let's begin to tell our stories. Let's travel. When we see something good happen, don't let's just talk about the person that stole. Let's talk about the person that returned money that was stolen. Let's make that news. Let's make it news that not just the person that fought. Let's make it news the person that stopped fighting, the person that was a mediator in a place. Let's make that news. Let's go around this country. I have been to I've been to the length and breadth of this country. I'm sure I know more of Kenya than you.
Probably right.
You know, I have been to the length and breadth of this country, and all I see is beauty. We take pictures of this. I send it around. I was invited to give a speech in Nigeria where the vice president, a whole lot of senior people in Nigeria were there, and I'm giving this speech. And I did not realize I spent the whole thing talking about Kenya and selling Kenya to them. To the point that I was asked, how did we lose you to Kenya? You know?
Yeah.
Because, you see, and I think it is the fact that we have become, as a people, familiar with things that work. Right,
because we don't know the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've become familiar with it. You know, I have friends who come from Nigeria, and maybe on Saturday night, want to go to church on Sunday. On Saturday night, they say, "Oh, I need to iron my clothes." Why? Because I never can tell if there will be no power tomorrow morning. You see, right. That's where they're coming from. You know that. You know, I tell people that Nigerians shout a lot. We have we have to shout. Why do we shout? We never have power. Every house has a generator making noise. If I'm going to talk to you as my neighbor, I need to shout over the sound of a generator. You see, we take those things for granted here. That you don't need to iron your clothes on Saturday night because of church on Sunday. We take those things for granted. You know, so we need to begin to tell those stories. We need to shout it out. We need to shout about Kenyan greatness. We need to shout about the fact that Kenya, I've told everybody who cares to listen that mobile internet speed in Kenya is faster than that in the US.
Right.
You know the stories we need to shout. I shout it out everywhere I go. That Kenya, what is the Kenyan dream?
That's a very good question.
What is the Kenyan dream? We need to sit together and say, this is the Kenyan dream. That my my maid at home can send her children to the best school. Her children can get the best education, not because she's my maid, but because she's a Kenyan. That my driver can get the best health care for his children, not because he's my driver, but because he's a Kenyan, because excellence has become the standard in Kenya. Those are the things we need to talk about. That Kenyan dream, we need to shout it. I got my life back in Kenya. You know, when you get to the airport, the immigration needs to welcome you and say, welcome to the land where dreams are fulfilled. Not interrogate you like you're a criminal.
Right. And you see hope of us getting to that place.
We will get there. The fact that we're even having conversations like this, we will get there. I am what you call a pragmatic optimist.
Okay.
That means I'm very optimistic, but I'm very pragmatic. I once had a dream of, let us change the world. We can change the world. I realized it wasn't going to happen.
Too big a dream.
I realized, you know what? I can change my world. A lot of people are waiting for permission to do certain things. Yet there are a lot of things we can do without permission. I did not need permission to go to Mathare and make a difference. I did not need permission to take certain people and send them to school. I did not need permission to do that. So my pragmatic optimism says, let me look at the things for which I don't need permission. Let me pour my heart into those. Every week on Facebook, I do what I call 1 minute transformation on my Facebook page. I am inspiring people. I'm having articles talking about people. I have thousands and thousands of people following that. On Twitter, same thing. On the ground in Mathare, in different places, same thing. Let me do what I can do without permission. If we all begin to do the good we can do without permission, then you know what's going to happen? We are going to get to a place where politicians will now begin to look for what to do.
Wow.
Because we send people to school, we're taking care of, we're starting a hospital in Mathare now.
And you bring up the issue of politicians, and I think it's interesting that we do kind of rely on them, to sort of change society. We say, let's sit back and wait and see what this president is going to do, or what these leaders are going to do for the next 5 years, without thinking of what we can do as individuals.
And JFK said it, and JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Right.
And I think that is still valid today, over 50 years later. We all need to look at that. I looked at it, I said, how do I get to the hearts of people in Mathare, apart from going there, empowering them economically? I looked at healthcare. Just last week, but when I leave, I'm having another meeting where a whole team is put together and to start a hospital right there in Mathare. A children's hospital. So if we can get to the hearts of these people through their kids, taking care of their kids, and then we now lead to other things and other. So there are a lot of things we don't need permission for. Let's look for those things and focus on them.
Yeah, I have a message here on Twitter for you from Julius Jules, who says, wow, this guy got brains. Joey, pass my regards to Dr. Wale. He helped me so much when I was running for office. I salute you. That's from Julius there. So obviously inspiring people, and of course you can keep using the hashtag Power Breakfast if you have been inspired this Monday. Dr. Wale, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I could just sit here and talk to you forever. Or listen, rather. But thank you so much for coming through to Power Breakfast. We hope to have you back soon.
Anytime.
You can continue to educate and inspire. Keep it here on Citizen TV. Citizen Extra coming up right after Power Breakfast. Good morning.